The city was alive with soft light as evening fell. Lanterns hung from poles and strings, casting golden glows across the narrow alleys. Each lantern swayed gently in the evening breeze, making the cobblestone streets shimmer as if sprinkled with tiny stars. Maya walked slowly, her eyes following the dancing lights. She had always loved this part of the city, the way it seemed quiet and magical, even when people rushed past. Tonight, she hoped the alley would give her an idea for her invention. She carried a small notebook and a pencil, ready to sketch anything that inspired her. The alley smelled faintly of flowers and warm bread from a nearby bakery. Shops were closing, their wooden shutters slamming softly, but the lanterns stayed lit, as if they were keeping watch over the city's secrets. Maya's fingers brushed against the smooth paper in her notebook. She paused to write down a thought about a mechanism that could help people lift heavy objects easily. Her mind was busy with ideas, but a sudden sound made her stop. "Sorry," a voice said. Maya looked up and almost dropped her notebook. A young man had bumped into her, his arms full of sketchbooks and brushes. He had dark hair falling over his forehead and kind brown eyes that seemed to look right through her. "It's okay," Maya said, a little flustered. She stepped back and helped him pick up a few fallen items. "Thank you," he said, smiling. "I didn't see you there." "I'm Aaron." "Maya," she replied, her voice soft. They both laughed lightly, an easy sound that didn't feel forced. Aaron noticed her notebook and pointed to it. "Are you drawing?" "Yes, some ideas for my invention," Maya said. "I'm trying to find inspiration." Aaron nodded, holding up one of his sketchbooks. "I'm trying to capture the lights of this alley in my paintings. There's something peaceful here that I want to remember." Maya looked around, realizing how the lanterns reflected on the wet cobblestones. She saw what he meant. The alley did feel peaceful, almost like it existed outside time. "It really is beautiful," she said. For a moment, they walked together in silence, each watching the lanterns swing gently. The sound of their footsteps echoed softly, blending with the distant hum of the city. Maya noticed small details, the way the light touched a flower in a window, or how the wet stones mirrored the sky. Aaron noticed her noticing things, and he smiled to himself. "You have a good eye," he said after a while. "You notice things that most people miss." Maya felt a little shy but happy. "I like observing. It helps me think better." They turned a corner, and the alley opened into a small square filled with lanterns of all shapes and colors. Children were chasing each other, their laughter bright and clear. A street musician played a soft tune on a flute. Maya felt the warmth of the place, as if it was welcoming them. Aaron pointed to a large lantern shaped like a star. "That one looks magical. Don't you think?" Maya nodded. "It does. I think this place could inspire my next invention. Or maybe, a story." They shared a quiet smile, a small understanding passing between them. It was strange how comfortable it felt, talking to someone she had just met. Yet, it did. It was like finding a missing piece of a puzzle she didn't know she had. The evening deepened, and the lanterns glowed brighter against the growing darkness. Maya realized she had been walking for hours, lost in thought and conversation. She didn't want to leave, not yet. "Would you like to walk a little more?" Aaron asked. "There's another part of the alley I think you'll like." Maya hesitated, then nodded. Together, they wandered deeper into the alley, finding hidden corners, tiny shops, and walls covered in ivy. They shared stories, small ones about their childhoods, their favorite places, and their dreams. Every word felt like a thread, slowly weaving them closer. Finally, they stopped in front of a small fountain, water softly flowing under the lantern's glow. They looked at each other, and for a moment, neither spoke. The world seemed still, only the soft sounds of water and wind around them. "I'm glad I met you tonight," Aaron said quietly. Maya's heart beat a little faster. "Me too," she replied, her voice almost a whisper. The lanterns flickered gently as if in agreement. Something unspoken passed between them, a feeling that this night was not just ordinary, but special. And under the soft glow of the lanterns, two strangers discovered a connection that neither had expected but both quietly desired. The alley, with its lights and shadows, had become more than a place. It had become a beginning. The morning after their first meeting, Maya woke with a smile she couldn't shake. The memory of Aaron's warm eyes and gentle laughter filled her mind. She had never met anyone who seemed so calm and curious at the same time. Every detail of the lantern-filled alley replayed in her thoughts: the flickering lights, the soft sound of water, and the way the evening had felt like a dream. She reached for her notebook, eager to jot down ideas for her invention, but her mind kept wandering back to him. Meanwhile, Aaron was sketching the alley again, remembering how Maya's excitement had shone in her eyes. He added tiny details of her gestures to his drawing, the way she tilted her head when she thought, the small spark in her smile. It was not just the lanterns he wanted to capture anymore, it was her presence that made the alley special. By late morning, Maya decided to return to the alley, hoping to find inspiration and maybe, secretly, Aaron. She walked quickly, feeling a mixture of excitement and nervousness. When she arrived, she saw him sitting on a low wall, sketchbook open. He looked up and waved, a broad smile spreading across his face. "Maya," he called. "I was hoping to see you again." "I was hoping to see you too," she replied, smiling as she approached. They walked together through the alley, noticing small details they had missed before. A small bird perched on a lantern, singing a quiet tune. A street vendor carefully arranged flowers in bright colors. Every corner seemed alive, and yet, Maya felt calm with Aaron by her side. "I think I could spend days here and still find new things," Maya said, her eyes scanning the alley. Aaron nodded. "It's the little things that matter, the small moments most people miss. That's what I try to capture in my art." Maya paused and looked at him. "You really see things, don't you? Not just with your eyes, but with your heart." Aaron smiled softly. "Maybe I do. And maybe that's why meeting you felt different. Like the alley itself wanted us to meet." Maya felt a warm glow in her chest. She had never been good with words, yet with Aaron, it felt easy. They laughed at small jokes, and shared stories of their past. Maya told him about her childhood fascination with machines, how she loved to figure out how things worked. Aaron shared tales of his travels, the different cities he had visited, and the small wonders he had found. By afternoon, they found a small cafe tucked into a corner of the alley. The owner, a kind woman with a gentle smile, welcomed them warmly. They sat at a table near the window, lanterns from above casting soft light across their faces. Over tea and simple pastries, they continued talking. Every conversation revealed another layer of who they were. "You inspire me," Aaron said quietly, glancing at Maya. "Not just with your inventions, but with how you see the world. You make me notice things I would have missed." Maya felt her cheeks warm. "And you make the world feel more magical. I didn't realize how much I needed that until now." They both laughed softly, a sound that felt like music blending with the quiet of the cafe. Outside, the alley was alive with evening colors again. Lanterns flickered as the wind passed through, and the smell of fresh bread and flowers filled the air. Maya realized she didn't want this day to end. After leaving the cafe, they wandered further into the alley, finding a small garden tucked between buildings. Flowers in every color leaned toward the lanterns, and a gentle fountain made soft rippling sounds. Maya knelt to sketch the flowers, while Aaron sat on a bench, capturing the scene in his sketchbook. "You're really good at this," Maya said, glancing at his drawings. "You notice everything." Aaron shrugged. "I notice what I care about." He paused, looking at her with a gentle smile. "And I care about this, and about you." Maya's heart skipped a beat. She felt a mixture of happiness and nervousness, but mostly a quiet warmth. "I care too," she whispered. They spent hours in the garden, sharing thoughts, ideas, and small stories. They discovered that they liked many of the same things: quiet evenings, gentle music, the feeling of discovery, and the joy of helping others. Every moment they spent together felt natural, as if they had always belonged in each other's company. As night fell, the alley glowed under the soft lantern lights again. Maya and Aaron stopped near a small bridge over a quiet stream. They leaned against the railing, looking at the water reflecting the lanterns. "I never want to forget this," Maya said softly. "Neither do I," Aaron replied. He reached for her hand, and she didn't pull away. The warmth of his hand matched the glow around them, and in that simple touch, both of them felt something new, something stronger than curiosity, something that promised care, trust, and the possibility of love. As they parted that night, walking toward their homes, neither spoke of meeting again. Yet, both knew in their hearts that they would return to the alley, to the lights, and to each other. The lantern-filled alley had become more than a place of inspiration. It had become the beginning of a connection neither of them could forget. The following week, Maya could not stop thinking about Aaron. Every time she walked through her workshop or tinkered with her invention, her mind drifted to the lantern-filled alley and the quiet moments she had shared with him. She wondered what he was doing now, if he was sketching somewhere in the city, capturing ordinary life in extraordinary ways. The thought of seeing him again filled her with a nervous excitement she had never felt before. Meanwhile, Aaron was walking through the bustling city market, sketchbook tucked under his arm. He was looking for colors, textures, and moments of life to inspire his next painting. But even among the crowd, his thoughts kept returning to Maya, the way her eyes lit up when she noticed something small and beautiful, the way her laughter had filled the quiet alley like music. He wished for another chance to walk beside her, to share stories, and to see the world through her eyes. As fate would have it, they met again unexpectedly. Maya was examining a pile of copper wires at a small stall, trying to find the right material for a part of her invention. Aaron was nearby, sketching a street performer juggling glowing orbs. He looked up and froze. There she was, bending over the wires, her hair falling softly across her face, completely focused on her task. "Maya," he called, a broad smile on his face. She turned and blinked, surprised. "Aaron. I didn't expect to see you here." He laughed softly. "I could say the same. It seems the city wanted us to meet again." Maya felt her cheeks warm. Maybe it did. They spent the morning walking through the market together, sharing small discoveries. Maya showed Aaron a stall full of rare metal pieces and delicate gears, explaining how each one could be used in her inventions. Aaron listened intently, fascinated by her knowledge and passion. In return, he showed her sketches he had made of the market, pointing out details she had missed, the way sunlight reflected off a metal bowl, or the pattern of shadows from the fabric awnings. "This is amazing," Maya said, examining his sketches. "You see the world in a way I never could." Aaron smiled. "And you notice things I would have never thought of. Together, we make a pretty good team, don't we?" Maya laughed, the sound blending with the lively noises of the market. "I think we do." As the sun climbed higher, they took a break at a small fountain in the center of the market. The water shimmered in the sunlight, and pigeons cooed softly nearby. Aaron pulled out his sketchbook and began drawing Maya as she sketched a small gear mechanism. She watched him curiously, realizing that he had started including her in his art, not just the surroundings, but her presence itself. "You're really good at this," Maya said, smiling. "You make everything look so alive." Aaron glanced up at her. "It's easier when the subject inspires me." "You inspire me, Maya." Her heart fluttered. She had never felt this way before, but she could not deny the warmth spreading through her chest. "And you inspire me," she whispered. After a while, they wandered out of the market and back into the alley, where the familiar glow of lanterns welcomed them. The alley seemed quieter than before, almost private, as if it belonged only to them. They paused near a small bridge, looking down at the gentle stream flowing beneath. "I feel like this alley has its own magic," Maya said softly. "It brings people together, or maybe it just brings the right people together." Aaron nodded. "I think it does. And I'm glad it brought me to you." They walked slowly, talking about their dreams. Maya shared her hopes of creating inventions that could make life easier for everyone, while Aaron spoke of his desire to travel and capture beauty in his paintings. They found themselves laughing at small mistakes they had made in the past, and sharing lessons learned from failures. Each word, each laugh, seemed to bring them closer. As the evening approached, lanterns flickered to life, casting soft gold and orange light across the cobblestones. Maya and Aaron sat on a low wall, looking up at the glowing lanterns. The air was warm and filled with the soft sounds of the city winding down. "You know," Aaron said quietly, "I never thought I could feel so connected to someone so quickly. But with you, it feels natural, like I've known you longer than I have." Maya felt the same. "I feel that too. It's comforting and exciting at the same time." They held hands for a moment, a small, gentle touch that made their hearts beat faster. The alley, bathed in soft light, seemed to approve, its quiet magic making everything feel more alive. Eventually, they stood and began to walk back toward the market entrance. Neither wanted the day to end, but both knew that life would pull them back to their separate tasks. Yet, they also knew something had begun, something that would not fade with time. The lantern-filled alley had become more than a place of light. It had become the space where two hearts began to grow closer, where laughter, dreams, and shared moments could bloom into something meaningful. And as Maya and Aaron parted that evening, both carried the warmth of the day, and the hope that their paths would cross again very soon. A few days after their second meeting, Maya found herself walking through the lantern-filled alley again. The sky was painted in shades of deep purple and orange, the sun dipping slowly behind distant rooftops. The alley had grown even more enchanting in her mind. She carried her notebook, though today she wasn't thinking about inventions. Today, she was thinking about Aaron, about the way his eyes sparkled when he noticed something small, and how his quiet confidence seemed to make the world feel safer. The sound of gentle footsteps echoed behind her. She turned, and there he was, sketchbook in hand, smiling as if he had been waiting for her. "Maya," he said softly, "I hoped I'd find you here." "I was hoping I'd see you too," she replied, smiling. There was a small flutter in her chest, the kind that made ordinary moments feel extraordinary. They walked side by side, letting the alley guide them deeper into its quiet corners. Tonight, it was almost empty, except for the soft flicker of lanterns swaying in the evening breeze. The air smelled faintly of blooming flowers, mixed with the warmth of baked bread from a distant shop. Maya and Aaron shared small smiles, feeling an unspoken connection growing between them. "You've been on my mind," Aaron admitted, glancing at her. "Since we met, I keep thinking about how easy it is to talk to you. How natural it feels." Maya felt her cheeks warm. "I feel the same. I didn't expect this. But it feels right, being with you." They stopped in front of a small fountain, the water softly glimmering under the lantern light. Aaron offered Maya his coat when he noticed a chill in the air. She accepted it with a quiet thank you, and for a moment, they stood together, watching the water ripple in the soft light. "I love this alley," Maya said, her voice almost a whisper. "It's quiet, but full of life at the same time. And now, it feels like it's ours." Aaron nodded. "I feel the same way. It's like a secret place where the world slows down, and we can just be ourselves." They continued walking, their steps in sync, enjoying the peacefulness around them. Aaron pointed out little details, a pattern in the bricks, the way the lanterns reflected on the water, the small bird perched on a roof. Maya laughed softly, noticing the care he took in observing everything. "You notice so much," she said. "It's inspiring." Aaron's eyes met hers. "And I notice you noticing things. That's what makes it special." As they walked, the alley opened into a small square where more lanterns hung in clusters. The light danced on the walls, casting gentle shadows that seemed to move with them. A street musician played a soft melody on a flute, the sound floating through the evening air. Maya and Aaron paused, listening to the music, letting the moment settle around them. Aaron reached for Maya's hand. She didn't pull away. Instead, she felt a warmth spread through her chest, a quiet happiness that made her heart beat faster. The simple touch felt natural, comforting, and exciting all at once. I I like being with you," Aaron said, his voice low. "More than I expected. More than I can explain." Maya smiled, feeling a flutter of joy. "I like being with you too. It's different from anything I've felt before." They continued to walk slowly through the lantern-lit streets, talking softly about small things, favorite books, little memories from childhood, and dreams for the future. Every word brought them closer, every shared laugh making the evening brighter than the lanterns themselves. Eventually, they reached a small bridge over a narrow stream. The water reflected the glow of the lanterns, shimmering like tiny stars. They leaned on the railing together, their hands brushing, their shoulders almost touching. The quiet of the alley, combined with the gentle music and soft light, made the world outside feel distant and unimportant. "I'm glad we met," Maya said quietly, looking at the reflection of the lanterns in the water. "Me too," Aaron replied, his voice gentle. "I've never felt this way before. Like, something important has begun, just between us." For a moment, they stood in silence, simply enjoying the presence of each other. The alley seemed to hum with quiet approval, the lanterns glowing brighter as if celebrating their connection. As the night grew deeper, they finally began to walk back toward the city streets, but neither felt rushed. Each step felt meaningful, each glance a quiet promise. The alley, once just a place of light and shadow, had become a space of trust, warmth, and the first hints of romance. Maya and Aaron parted that evening with a soft smile and a gentle wave, their hearts full of anticipation. Both knew that this was more than friendship. Something had sparked tonight, a connection that went beyond words, beyond moments, beyond the simple glow of the lanterns. And in the quiet of the alley, under the soft flicker of golden light, a new chapter in their story was quietly beginning. Days passed, and Maya and Aaron continued meeting in the lantern-filled alley whenever they could. Each encounter brought laughter, shared stories, and moments of quiet understanding. Yet, despite the warmth between them, doubts began to creep quietly into their hearts. Maya spent long hours in her workshop, surrounded by gears, wires, and sketches. Her invention required focus, precision, and more time than she sometimes felt she could give. She loved seeing Aaron, loved the calm joy his presence brought her, but she worried. Could she balance her dreams and this new, growing connection? Could her inventions thrive without consuming her every hour? One afternoon, as the sun streamed through the workshop windows, Maya sighed, turning a small gear in her hand. She thought of Aaron, imagining him wandering through the city streets, capturing the world in his art. She wished she could be with him without feeling guilty for leaving her work behind. The feeling weighed on her, a quiet tension she could not shake. Meanwhile, Aaron felt his own uncertainty. His life was built around travel, exploration, and the pursuit of beauty. He loved sketching, wandering, and discovering new corners of the world. But the more he spent time with Maya, the more he wondered if his lifestyle could fit with hers. Could he continue his journey without leaving her behind? Could their connection survive the distance his work often demanded? One evening, the alley glowed under soft lantern light, and Maya and Aaron met as usual. At first, their smiles were bright, and their laughter easy. They wandered slowly, pointing out details they had discovered in previous visits, the way a lantern flickered against the wall, or how the fountain water glimmered like diamonds. But beneath the surface, their hearts carried quiet worries. "I've been thinking," Maya began, her voice gentle, "about my work, and how much time it takes. I don't want it to get in the way of us." She paused, looking at Aaron, searching his face for understanding. Aaron nodded slowly, his brow furrowed. "I've been thinking too. About my travels, about leaving. I don't want my life to take me away from you. But I also don't want to hold you back from your dreams." The words hung between them, heavy with unspoken fears. They walked in silence for a while, the gentle sounds of the alley surrounding them. Lanterns swayed softly, casting shadows that seemed to reflect their uncertainty. Both loved each other, but the path forward was unclear. Maya stopped near the small bridge over the stream, staring at the reflection of the lanterns in the water. "I don't want to lose this," she whispered. "I don't want to lose us." Aaron reached out and took her hand, holding it firmly but gently. "Neither do I. That's why we have to think carefully. I don't want to rush anything. I just want us to find a way that works for both of us." Maya nodded, feeling a mixture of relief and continued worry. I think we can. But it won't be easy." "No," Aaron agreed, "it won't. But the important thing is that we care enough to try." They walked together, side by side, letting the quiet of the alley soothe their anxious thoughts. They talked about possible solutions, meeting regularly, sharing letters when apart, combining their passions in ways that could bring them closer rather than pulling them apart. Each suggestion sparked hope, though the fear of failure lingered. By the time they reached the small cafe near the alley, the stars were beginning to appear, twinkling faintly above the lanterns. Maya and Aaron paused, looking up. The night sky was vast, endless, yet somehow comforting. It reminded them that even if challenges came, there was room in the world for dreams, for love, and for hope. "I think we can make it work," Maya said, squeezing Aaron's hand. "It won't be perfect, but we can try." Aaron smiled, relief and affection shining in his eyes. "We'll find a way." Together. They lingered in the alley a little longer, letting the calm and light of the lanterns fill them with quiet strength. The doubts had not disappeared, but they had found a beginning of understanding, a promise that neither would give up easily. As they parted that evening, Maya and Aaron carried a quiet determination in their hearts. Challenges existed, but so did their connection. The alley, once just a magical place of light, had become a witness to their courage, the courage to face doubts, to hold on to hope, and to nurture the bond that had quietly grown between them. And so, under the soft glow of the lanterns, two hearts learned that love was not only about joy and laughter. It was also about patience, understanding, and the quiet bravery to try, even when the path ahead seemed uncertain. The evening sky was painted in soft shades of pink and purple when Maya returned to the lantern-filled alley. The city had quieted down, and the warm glow of lanterns made the cobblestones shimmer like tiny stars. Tonight, her heart felt heavier than usual, a mixture of hope and nervousness. She carried her notebook, but her mind was not on sketches or inventions. Tonight, she hoped to find Aaron, to speak from the heart, and maybe, finally, share the feelings that had been growing quietly inside her. As she walked deeper into the alley, she spotted him near the small fountain, sketchbook open, his brow furrowed in concentration. He looked up and smiled when he saw her, and in that moment, her nervousness melted into relief. "Maya," he said softly, standing as she approached, "I'm glad you came." "I wasn't sure if I should," she admitted, her voice low, "but I needed to see you." Aaron stepped closer, his presence calming her. "I needed to see you too. I've been thinking a lot, about us, about everything." They walked slowly along the familiar path, the lanterns flickering above, casting golden reflections on the stones. Each step felt deliberate, as if the alley itself was guiding them towards something important. "I've been worried," Maya confessed, "about my work, about my invention, and how it might take too much of my time. I don't want it to keep me from being with you." Aaron reached for her hand, his touch gentle. "I understand. I've worried too about my travels, about leaving, about not being able to be around. But I realized something, the time we spend together, the connection we share, it's worth figuring out how to make it work." Maya looked into his eyes and felt the warmth of his sincerity. "I don't want to hide my feelings anymore," she whispered. "Aaron, I like you. More than just a friend. I think I've felt this way for a long time, but I was afraid to say it." Aaron's face softened, and he took both her hands in his. "Maya, I feel the same. I've felt it since the first night we walked through this alley together. I've tried to focus on my art, on my travels, but I can't stop thinking about you. I love being with you." Maya's heart leapt. The words she had longed to hear, yet feared, filled her with a quiet joy. "I'm glad," she said, her voice trembling slightly. "I was scared that maybe you didn't feel the same." Aaron smiled, brushing a strand of hair from her face. "I've been scared too. Scared of losing what we have. But I think, if we face it together, we can handle anything. They paused near the small bridge, looking down at the water flowing beneath them. The lanterns reflected on the surface, creating patterns that danced like tiny flames. The world around them seemed to quiet, leaving only the two of them, the soft glow of the lanterns, and the gentle sound of the stream. "I want us to be together," Maya said softly. "Even if it's hard sometimes. Even if we have doubts or challenges, I want to try." Aaron nodded, squeezing her hands gently. "So do I. I don't want to imagine my life without you. I want to explore, to create, to discover, but I want to do it with you." Maya smiled, feeling a deep sense of relief and happiness. "Then let's promise each other," she said, "that we will try. That we will support each other and face whatever comes, together." Aaron looked at her, his eyes shining with affection. "I promise," he said, his voice steady. "No matter what happens, we'll face it together." They stood there for a moment, hands clasped, hearts beating in quiet harmony. The lanterns swayed gently above them, as if nodding in approval. The alley, which had once been just a place of light and shadows, had become a witness to their promise, their courage, and their love. As the night deepened, they walked slowly back toward the city streets, not speaking, but feeling a closeness that words could not fully express. Every glance, every touch, every shared smile carried a silent affirmation of the feelings they had finally confessed. By the time they reached the edge of the alley, Maya and Aaron stopped. The city lights were faint in the distance, but the glow of the lanterns lingered in their hearts. Aaron leaned slightly closer, and Maya felt the warmth of his presence surround her. "I'll see you tomorrow," she asked softly. "Of course," Aaron replied, a gentle smile on his lips. "And every day after that, if we can." Maya nodded, feeling a quiet joy settle in her chest. They parted with a soft wave, each carrying the happiness of shared confession, the thrill of a new beginning, and the certainty that the lantern-filled alley had changed their lives forever. Under the soft glow of the lanterns, two hearts had found each other, courage had triumphed over doubt, and a promise had been made, a promise of love, togetherness, and the beauty of facing life hand in hand. The lantern-filled alley glowed softly under the evening sky, just as it always did. Tonight, however, it felt different, alive with a quiet anticipation, as if it knew something important was about to happen. Maya walked slowly along the cobblestones, her notebook tucked under her arm. She had spent the day at her workshop, finishing a part of her invention, but her thoughts had been with Aaron all along. The memory of their confession, of the promise they had made to face life together, brought a warm smile to her face. As she turned a corner, she saw him waiting near the small fountain, sketchbook in hand. Aaron looked up and grinned, his eyes lighting up at the sight of her. He closed his sketchbook and held it out to her, revealing a drawing of the alley, glowing with lanterns, and at the center, the two of them holding hands. "It's beautiful," Maya said softly, touching the drawing. "You captured it perfectly, and us." Aaron shrugged, a little shy. "I wanted to remember this moment. Us together in the alley where it all began." Maya felt her heart flutter. She stepped closer, and they walked side by side, hands brushing until they finally intertwined. The warmth of their touch spread through them both, a quiet affirmation of the love that had grown between them. "I've been thinking," Maya said as they wandered deeper into the alley, "about how lucky we are to have found each other. I don't want to take it for granted." Aaron nodded. "Neither do I. Life can be busy, and there will be challenges, but this is worth everything. You're worth everything." They paused near the small bridge, watching the water shimmer with the reflections of the lanterns. The soft sound of the stream and the gentle flicker of light made the moment feel timeless. Aaron turned to Maya and smiled, a look of quiet determination in his eyes. "Let's make a promise," he said softly, "that we will always support each other. That no matter what happens, work, travel, or life, we will face it together." Maya looked into his eyes, seeing the sincerity and warmth that had drawn her to him from the beginning. "I promise," she said, squeezing his hands. "We'll face everything together." The alley seemed to hum with quiet approval, the lanterns glowing brighter, as if celebrating their commitment. For the first time, Maya felt completely at peace. She realized that love wasn't just about excitement or romance, it was about trust, care, and the courage to share your heart fully with another person. They continued walking, exploring the small hidden corners of the alley, discovering places they hadn't noticed before. A tiny flower garden tucked between two buildings, a little fountain with carved stone animals, and walls covered in ivy that shimmered under the lantern light. Everything seemed more beautiful, more alive, simply because they were together. At a small cafe near the edge of the alley, they stopped for tea, sitting close together and sharing stories about their day. Maya showed Aaron some designs for her invention, and he offered gentle suggestions, his eyes bright with admiration for her creativity. In return, Aaron showed Maya sketches of his travels, explaining the inspiration behind each one. They laughed together, their joy blending with the soft sounds of the cafe and the distant flicker of lanterns outside. As night fell fully, they returned to the center of the alley, where the largest lanterns hung above the fountain. Aaron took both of Maya's hands in his, looking into her eyes. "Maya," he said, his voice soft but steady, "being with you has changed everything. I never knew life could feel this complete, this, right. I want to explore the world, to create, to discover, but I want to do it with you by my side." Tears of happiness welled in Maya's eyes. "Aaron, I feel the same. My inventions, my work, they mean a lot to me. But nothing matters as much as sharing life with you. I want to be with you, always." They stood in silence for a moment, hearts beating in quiet harmony. The lanterns flickered gently above, casting golden reflections on the cobblestones and water. In that glow, they felt a sense of timelessness, a feeling that this moment, this connection, was meant to last forever. Finally, they embraced, a gentle hug full of warmth, trust, and love. The alley, once a simple place of light and shadow, had become a symbol of their journey, a journey of discovery, courage, and the power of human connection. As they held each other, Maya whispered, "I'm so glad we found each other." Aaron smiled, resting his forehead against hers. "Me too. And no matter what happens, we'll always have this, our alley, our lanterns, and our promise." They lingered under the lanterns for a long time, enjoying the quiet magic of the alley. The city slept around them, but here, in the soft glow of the lanterns, two hearts had found their home. Dreams, fears, and doubts had been faced and set aside, replaced by love, trust, and the courage to face the future together. And so, under the golden light of the lantern-filled alley, Maya and Aaron began the next chapter of their lives, a chapter filled with hope, shared dreams, and the quiet joy of love discovered and nurtured. The alley, which had once been just a passage of light, had become a place of forever, a place where desire, courage, and human connection shone brighter than any lantern.